The Quick Diz Takes podcast is a Quick Diz Takes production.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner.
Oh boy. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Quick Diz Takes podcast. I am your host, Tim LeBeau, here alongside Mrs. Sarah Castano.
Hey, howdy, hey.
And Mr. John Castano.
Hello.
We are excited because we have a special episode this week, special guest. For those of you, and I'm sure there's plenty out there with children who are familiar with the Imagination Movers. And we have a special guest this week, Rich Collins from the Imagination Movers. Hello, Rich.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for being on. We appreciate
Happy to be
it.
here.
So what we're going to do today is we're just going to kind of ask Rich a few questions, and he's going to kind of take us through some things and how he got to be where he is, and all the kind of stuff that a lot of people that I'm sure watch the Imagination Movers or follow the Imagination Movers, listen to the Imagination Movers, are probably interested in hearing. So without further ado, Rich, I'm going to ask you the basic of all basic questions, and that is, can you kind of give us a little bit of the story about how you guys came to be and how this whole thing started and how it got to where it is today?
I'd be happy to answer, and I'd like to offer a little context before I begin. I just want to explain where I am. I'm talking to you guys right now from the basement of a Airbnb in Galveston, Texas, because our hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana, is still without power in a lot of areas. So after Hurricane Ida last week, my family and I just scrambled a few hours west, and we're sort of waiting out the process of them rebuilding the power lines. So anyway, I'm right now in the basement of this Airbnb and next to the laundry machine. So happy to be talking to you from this very beautiful location. It is kind of mover blue, though, I think.
Yeah.
It's like the one of the rooms in the Idea Warehouse. Remind me, make sure to bring up the rooms in the Idea Warehouse, because there's a little a current events topic to bring up related to that. But in any case, the story of the movers is this: my friends Scott, Dave, and I in New Orleans almost 20 years ago. We're friends, watch Saints games together. We would go to each other's weddings and baby showers and things. And we were together at Scott Durbin's son's second birthday party on a Sunday afternoon, drinking beer. And the conversation came up about all the, kids shows we've been seeing. And we all started joking that we could make a much cooler one. It would be more like the Beastie Boys meets Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, if for those of you who don't know, was a live action television show that we grew up on. It was like a educational kids show on PBS. And we thought, we could take kind of our American Southern sensibility and turn it into a fun kids show that was high energy. And so you would think normally that conversation would lead nowhere. In this case, it led to us getting together a couple nights later. And we sat down and on a napkin and some loose leaf sketched out the concept for the show. And it really, we were all shocked at how much that first meeting turned into what the show would become. I mean, it's a lot of, maybe the first 2 or 3 conversations, that's where we dreamed up the warehouse, the brainstorming, the problem solving, the infinite rooms that came a little bit later, that came in another meeting. But a lot of the initial concept, the warehouse mouse, all that stuff, knit knots, is very, very early. And so it came from just 4 friends having a chit chat one afternoon, and then having the just the interest, the curiosity to get together and brainstorm it. And I'd say within 10 days, we'd written the theme song. Everybody shout, what's the big idea? Hey, What's the big idea? Imagination movers are music to your ears. Music to your ears. So that song was, I think, the very first thing we wrote, and it makes sense because it's literally GCD, the 1-4-5 chord progression. Just super simple. I think we're sitting around my kitchen. I don't know. It's been 20 years, but that song came fast. And another one that came really quickly was the song "My Favorite Snack." I don't know if you know this from like that. So it's about to be the 20th anniversary. We have all these big dreams. We're gonna like reissue the first album, and re-record it and remaster it, make it sound beautiful. And anyway, that's the thought. But it's a theme song, and I haven't played this one. My favorite snacks are the ones that I help pick out. Anyway, my favorite snack, all those ones. That was from that first round of brainstorming, and it was because we thought, okay, our first episode, what'll it be about? Healthy snacks, and so healthy eating or whatever. So like if you go back and look at our first album, like 4 of the 12 songs are all like food themed. Anyway, so that's the basic origin. To go from that brainstorm to touring the world, I don't know. I can compress it into 30 seconds, or you tell me.
My boys are all about it, so it's. I mean, our kids love them, so we know a lot, but I don't know what our listeners know. So maybe is there like a middle ground?
Maybe a little bit of. I was doing my research on kind of your beginnings, and so. Maybe just a little bit about how you kind of approach the local PBS stations, and I guess you guys had was it like a minute snippet at first that would go on the local channels?
Yeah. So the broad strokes is that we put together like a description of a show, just like we just in a probably Microsoft Word document with some sketches. Here we have this TV show idea. Here it is in a stack of paper, and then gee, what do you do with that? We shared it with some friends, and we talked to local experts, and we started brainstorming. But what we found was that the first thing we could really get going was the music. And so I took a big plunge and invested in some gear and built, an iMac-based recording studio in the back of my house in our spare room. Hence the name Rec Room Records, which has been our label ever since we started. So literally stepping on toys, the guys would come over at night and we would build these songs. And that's how we made the first album. And I did it pretty quickly. It was, 6 months or something. We made this first album and some other ancillary materials. And the first thing that happened for us is we became like an indie rock band in New Orleans, playing for families. And so, that was the thing we knew how to get going. So we did that first. And that because New Orleans is New Orleans and people are funny and they support creative things that come out of New Orleans. We went from our first show we played at a Mardi Gras party, and then that led to a couple of birthday party gigs, and then it was like, hey, why don't you play this little festival or city park or come to the zoo we kind of got momentum quickly because here's these 30-something-year-old dads that are an architect and a firefighter and a writer and a teacher, and now they're putting on these suits and they're waving these toothbrushes in the air, and it's funny, and hey, let's it became a thing, and we play school we started touring around and playing a lot of schools, like assemblies and gyms, and we have a lot of energy. It's funny. Scott Durbin is a teacher. He's great with the crowd, and he can just all that interaction started happening, and the early versions of all the stuff that became, kind of our signature, and played a lot around New Orleans, started playing around the region. And this led to a couple of things. One is we had a show at the Louisiana Children's Museum on a New Year's Eve countdown thing. And got it right up in the paper, I think. And this is before anything's on TV. Well, we had like 1,200 people come to see this event. So like I remember it was like our first pull up in a limo type feeling, because we got there to go get ready to do this show, and there was literally around the block, people lined up to come see this thing. You know, we were like, oh my gosh, you know, we were like, we've made it, you know.
Did it.
So those kind of early moments led to this feeling of, wow, we've hit on something. People like this. They're responding to this. We're funny together. We have good energy. So that all led to what got us from there to where we wound up was a series of just big ideas and big gambles. One of which is we took out a huge loan and we went to the Toy Fair in New York City at the Javits Center. It's an annual industry event. It's for like Lego and everyone to show off their new stuff. But what really is, it's a place for anyone who's trying to license any idea and get it in front of that audience, you know, kids and families. They go to Toy Fair. And so we got a stage and a booth at Toy Fair. We brought our coloring book and our first album. I don't think we had the DVD yet. I could be wrong, but went to Toy Fair and just networked like crazy. That had a major repercussions for us down the road. It led to a lot of potential deals, and it kind of helped lead to the deal. But then, in addition to that, the other big gamble we did was we worked out a few just networking and all this craziness. We hosted a show at the UNO Lakefront Arena. So this is like a giant like arena where you know, trying to think, like big rock and pop shows come through the arena. It holds, I don't know, 10,000 people. Well, we worked out a plan where it was set up already for like a graduation the day before, I think it was. And we did a Father's Day concert at the Lakefront Arena. And I spent 6-10 months selling tickets for this thing. And we got about 1,000 people in there. And we filmed it. Along with that, we filmed like, I don't know, 6 our very first ever music videos. And we basically made ourselves our first DVD on a shoestring with our friend Francis James, a great director, did a great job. The combination of that networking we had done in New York, plus a lot of stuff we'd done with PBS down here, combined with that product, you know, this beta test thing of this DVD, the first album, I can't remember, it might have only been the first CD, and a coloring book and some other things we made. That material, through some just various connections and string pulling, got into the hands of the people at Playhouse Disney, Disney Channel, and Hollywood, Walt Disney Records. That material got into their hands. They were looking for something like a music. They were actively searching for a music product, right? A music show, a live action music show. And so they were scouting around all over the country. We were one of the things that they investigated. Came to Jazz Fest in 2005. We had a great time, went out and wined and dined with these execs who I still close with. That led to, let's talk, maybe we'll do a production deal. We'll make a pilot and see where this goes. Long story short, Katrina happened, city was destroyed. We all were living on the run, kind of like I am right now. That kind of put a laser focus on New Orleans for the world, right? The whole world was paying attention to New Orleans for that year. And so that really kind of lit a fire under us and under Disney to get this deal done. It was kind of going slowly. Got it done. And by 06, 07, everything was done, signed. We went and produced a pilot, made the pilot got approved. They basically chose us over all the various options that they were looking at. Pilot got approved. Fun fact, when we shot the pilot, the woman playing Nina is a different actress. She went on to star in the television show Glee. So if you know Jenna Uskowitz, she's one of the main ensemble in Glee. She was our original Nina. Through testing and things like that, they switched her out. She was awesome, by the way, as is Wendy. But pilot got approved. We went into production for season 1. One little snag, there was a famous writer's strike that year back in 07. So our first season got shut down for, I don't know, months. And then we had to pick back up and get the first season finished. But all that led to the show going on the air in September of 2008. We had been traveling and touring a lot on our own, but that obviously lit a fire under it. And basically since that moment, we've been able to travel all over North America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, just as a working rock band. We've had some big tours. Now we do lots of smaller, more lightning strike focused tours. And so along the way, so that's sort of the quick description of how we went from where we were, just dads drinking beer at a birthday party, to having the show on the air. But along the way, and including up until this last week when we released our 11th release, we've recorded more than 250 songs. We made 75 episodes of the show, and just have been lucky that we together have a kind of a wellspring of ideas and inspirations that we seem to bring out of each other. So we're really excited. We have a new label. It's called 8 Pound Gorilla. Good friends of ours that we knew from Sirius XM. One of our friends over there is involved with this label. That's how we met those guys. They're excited. They're pushing the new EP. We've got, I think, 3 songs right now all over Sirius XM, the kids' place, the kids' channels. Mm-hmm. The songs are showing up all over, editorial playlists on Spotify. So we're delighted right now because we have these new songs that people are really enjoying, and all the Mover shows are on Disney Plus. So when we played our first show since the pandemic last 2-3 weeks ago, we had a bunch of new people show up. We were out near on Lake Michigan in the Midwest. Tons of new families that are finding the show on Disney Plus. So we can't wait to get safely through what we have to get through the next few months, and then get out there and hopefully put on a series of great shows for people again. We can't wait. There you go. There's the very condensed version. I skipped all the lawsuits.
Is the live concert going to come to Disney Plus? Is that show going to come? Because our kids, they literally watch that every single morning for like a month straight, and then that didn't get back on there.
Great question.
I bought it on iTunes because my little guy needed to hula with Nina every day.
Oh, was it? Yeah, every morning.
It was his routine. He had to hula.
That's a great question, though. I should ask if they can get the concert up, and why not? I mean, yeah.
They were super into that.
I will pursue that.
Okay.
One thing that's interesting though is well, anyway, yeah. Some our big exec friends over there, all 3 now have either for a while now or very recently been promoted or moved on to other things. So yeah, but we do have friends over there at various levels. So we'll check on that for sure. Because why not? Put it on there. It's fun.
And you guys had quite the guest appearances on your show as well. You had Baker Ben come on. You had Joey Fatone come on. I say Baker Ben. It's really not Baker Ben. Those of you who watch Duff, he was on there as a guest.
Oh, yes.
Had, quite the guests come on. So how? I don't know anything. Tell me how.
All right. Well, it's interesting. This is a very practical answer to that question. So the character Knitnots, right? Season 1. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's funny. I sort of forget on this, but he was gone in season 2, right? Yeah. And part of what they did was they just, each year they retool the seasons and figure out what can we do to make this one more fun. And they decided to focus more on guests. And so they redirected some of the budget toward bringing in the coolest people they could get. They always had every script that would come around, they'd be like, who would be the coolest person to play the cowboy in this episode, or who'd be the coolest person, and they might go through a few people to find them, but so yeah, we ended up getting to hang with a lot of really fun people. Duff Goldman was one of our favorites. He's super nice, and he's still super nice to us. He anytime we have a release, he helps us promote it on social media. He's just got our back, so we can't thank him enough. In fact, I was here in my hideout here in Galveston, and the first night we're watching some cooking show, and it was it's a Ben and Jerry's cooking show, like a competition. So who can make I think what the result is, whoever wins this show has a Ben and Jerry's flavor is what it is. But he was not on it, but he must be like the final big judge, because they just kept talking about what would Duff like, what would you think about this, what would you think about that. I thought, man, he's done so well as far as staying relevant, staying in the he's got his finger on the pulse. But and then obviously Joey Fatone from NSYNC was another one of our favorites. He taught us all the dances. Went out drinking with us. He's hilarious, very nice person. So yeah, we've had a lot of great guests. Some of them are like from famous bands and or their own shows. Some are just great character actors. Brian Stepanek was one of our good buddies. He was on 2 episodes, 2 different characters. He played the plumber Pete, and he was also in the. Wait, is the plumber Pete the Halloween one? I get them all confused. Anyway, yeah, he was a knight, and he was plumber Pete in the Halloween episode. So yeah, we've had a lot of good buddies, good friendships we made from the guests on the show.
Did you keep anything from the set? Does anybody have like that big superhero guy that was up top?
Captain Incredible, Mr. Incredible? No,
Whatever
Captain Amazing.
Is it? Okay. Here's.
I watch it with the kids. I think that's what it is.
All right. So Scott is our Scott Durbin is he's our archivist, and I think he when he's not being a mover, he runs a music business program at a college in Louisiana. And I think his office now at this point is just literally stuff full of everything from the show. I think Eddie the Monster's in there.
Oh,
and then the other day he was asking Smitty if he could get like one of the surfboards from one of the episodes where we had the surfing, that was in his office now, and he was going to get another one. So yeah, he can. Yeah, I do. So what I have, it's funny because I kind of have, I live next door to another family member, so we have a decent amount of storage space in New Orleans. I have several of the couches. I basically could literally recreate the entire like living room when you walk in to movers. I have the hot dog cart, we called it, like the front desk.
Yeah.
Got that. I've got the blue chair you sit in. There was actually multiple versions of that couch. I've got one of them. I've got the coffee table. Oh, I might have gotten rid of the coffee table. Anyway, I somehow or another ended up with all of the set furniture, but yeah, and then we have it's funny. There's just stuff. There was a car, like a life-size cutout of me in my attic for years, and my kids were scared of it, like my little kids, because like you walk up the stairs and this thing would be there. That's gone. I think it just wore out or something. But yeah, so we definitely have stuff. What I also have, I've got these hard drives, so many hard drives with all of this, whether it's song, it's all the sessions from all the songs. So that's stuff that I kind of have to treat like very carefully and make sure it stays safe, because it's, that like one day when we, it's going in the Library of Congress or something, we'll have to have all that material. But yeah, so no, there's a lot of stuff built up over the years. I mean, the truth is we're just so proud of this show and what we made, and we love how we get to go out and do stuff. And we've made, there's funny new videos that we've shot. It's funny, there was conversation the other day. Do you know our album Rockomatic? I don't know if you know it. It's so that was our first post Disney album, and we've won an Emmy. We were nominated for another one, but we've never been nominated for a Grammy, and that's something we really hoped to solve. And Scott was talking the other day about just in a mere chat in the text thread about how that album, that one, we were so proud of it. And if there's any album of ours that should have gotten a Grammy, that would have been the one. It just covered all the bases. And but truthfully, License to Move, 10-4, Rockomatic, this new one, Happy to Be Here, they all got quality stuff on them. So we're very proud of our creative output.
I mean, the music kind of grows with the kids too. We started listening to you when our boys were little. I think they were maybe almost 5 and almost 2 I can do math. Almost 5 and almost 3 maybe.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they just turned 9 and 7 this past week, and they still like, can we put movers on? Can we put movers on? And the music just grows with them. Like they don't get old of it. I mean, they don't grow tired of it. I don't grow tired of it. I'll throw it in the car happily. I'll be maybe 10 minutes on my way to work and realize I don't have the kids in the car, and I'm still singing, Watermelon Meow Meow or something. So
oh, great. That's the one.
Their favorite. They want it on repeat. But it's something that grows with them, and I enjoy the music. They love seeing, the concerts. It's a whole experience, and I think it's definitely something you guys should be proud of. I mean, it's something that so many families have come and they've spent time and they bond over. So
I appreciate it. It's funny. We were joking around the other day that so 2 of us are empty nesters. Both the kids are in college or beyond. I, by virtue of having 5 kids, I have 3 in college or beyond, and then still 2 at home. And then Smitty's got a youngster. So, but as our kids have gotten up and older, and in some cases up and older and out of the house, now we're like, what else do we write about? And so there's on the new album, on the new release, there's a song called "My Dog," and it's the concept of this was the second side of Abbey Road, where all the little short songs stitched together, and I think we pulled it off. Some people are saying this is even better than the second side of Abbey Road. I'm not going to say either way, but what I will say for sure is, unlike the second side of Abbey Road, all of our short songs are about our pets, and I think that speaks to the fact that our kids are getting older. So, like my little puppy, who's right here behind me, like she does inspire me. She is like she's taken that role of, like, instead of the little baby that you can hold and hug, now my dog is like my friend who's with me all the time, right? And so that is the inspiration for. You guys should play the song. You should look it up. It's called "My Dog," but here, I'll give you a sing. Yeah, my dog is always around. If I lay on the couch, she'll lay on the couch. I'm so lucky to have such a good friend. Lucky to have such a good friend. Yeah, lucky to have such a good friend. So it goes from that, and then it's, my dog never tweets. She mostly sleeps and eats. She never said no kind word to anyone. And my dog never fights. She mostly barks, she never bites. She just wants to go to the park and have some fun. Oh, my dog never tweets. My dog never tweets. Anyway, so picture that, but more, all about dogs. But so yeah, that's an example of how, what cute, funny things can we write about now? And so we've just turned our attention to dogs. We might just become all about dogs from this point on.
I think you got like a corner marketed there. I mean, a market.
Yes.
Market.
A market cornered. Yes, corner market. No, I think you're right though. Think about people love their dogs. We're just gonna do only. Well, to your point, so this song, "My Dog." Right now, our label is working on this whole TikTok campaign to get people to do dog videos based on it. But also, there's several playlists, pet-related playlists, that have already grabbed "My Dog" and are using it. So yeah, it's great. So anyway, dog. Also robots. We write a lot about robots. So we got I think our 3rd robot song on the new release, and that's not enough. We have to have more.
I mean, the truck songs are good too. Get fire truck, dump truck. My kids are all about truck. I mean, I feel like you hit a lot of things that kids like to talk about. And truck.
Right? We got tow truck, fire truck, dump truck. The trilogy, yeah. But and maybe that's it. With trucks, maybe 3 is the perfect amount. I don't know. Yeah. But with dogs, I think the sky's the limit. Actually, it's funny because Dave doesn't have a dog. He has a cat. So on our song "My Dog," it's all dog stuff, and then at the very end, there's a little coda where he sings a little ode to his cat, who rides a Roomba. Right. Anyhow,
that's a cool cat.
I may have digressed. You were asking, but anyways, yeah. So it's great. The Disney stuff's great. Oh, but I did want to mention that we were talking amongst ourselves that there's a new show on Disney. I think a Mickey Mouse one, and there's this. One detail of the show is infinite rooms with magical possibilities. So,
where'd they get that idea from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
It was kind of like when we were making our show, and then the other channel suddenly came on with a show. Was it Fresh Beat Band or whatever? And it was like they hired our director, and they started using like all of our stuff. They even had a song about it was a lot. There was a lot of similarities, but in that case, you just, what are you gonna do? What imitation? Best form of flattery.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, any particular highlights or things that stick out in your mind when you guys were recording the shows with Disney? I picture like I have my own show and like it would be like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, if you're familiar with that, where like I'll be on my set, then I take one step over to the right and I'm on like Hannah Montana, and then like Miley Cyrus just hanging out there, and then I go over there. Is it what's the atmosphere like? What and where did you guys film?
Well, so it's different. It's different from that, but in a great way, because what happened was they came to us. So we all live in New Orleans. This is post Katrina, so the whole city was devastated. Disney came in and basically invested in 3 seasons of this television show, all shot 10 minutes from my house. So we were able to the whole soundstage was the same one that was used for the last 7 years for NCIS New Orleans. But when we were there, it was just us. We took the whole thing, and so it was great though. It's like literally driving into work on a Monday morning, but then you go inside the front doors, and it's like this magical, beautiful alternate reality, because the art department every given week would build something super cool. I mean, like the pirate ship for the pirate episode. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Or the desert island episodes with the with the sand. I mean, it was literally like, it was kind of like going to Disney World, where you have all this fun stuff to play in, and the environment they built for you would obviously inspire creativity, make it so much fun. Get to play on a pirate ship in a beautiful pirate costume that got shipped in from LA, so it was awesome. The one funny thing is that you start work at, I don't know, 6 a.m. or something, maybe even earlier on Monday morning, and then you work 12-hour days. You'd shoot each episode in 4 days, but so you'd like, episodes would span weekends and things. It wasn't like one episode a week, but what would happen is you go in at 6, then you always go over. So the next day you go in at 7 or 8, then you go over, and so by the end of the week you're going in like at 11:30 in the morning, and you get off at 2 in the morning. So it was a weird schedule in that regard. But the fact that we could be in our home, go home and be with the kids and have the weekends off, it was great. And then, but what was fun for us at the sound stage was, and by the way, none of this is like glamorous looking. It's all very much like picture like a semi-industrial suburb of wherever y'all are. And just like a big warehouse looking thing. That's what it looked like. It wasn't anything beautiful.
Just a very unassuming building, I imagine.
Very unassuming, like stucco front, whatever. Maybe it was actual stone, but just a gray blah building, but surrounded by other ones. I think next to us actually was Zatarain's, the spice company, so it always smelled good. But we had like our hair and makeup room, which was super fun because we became friends with all the stylists, and they're our buddies, and we still are, And then you go past the hair and makeup room. We each have our little office. I think we each spent 1 minute a day in our office. We were never in our office ever. But the hair and makeup, that's fun. You have the whole like fun eating, the mess hall, and then upstairs was production. We'd go visit them sometimes, and then you go past all that. You have the main sound stage where the warehouse was built. Super cool. And then there's all sorts of nooks and crannies you can go and like practice and learn a dance or whatever. I guess that we're all extremely good dancers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got hired, because we're all the best dancers. But and that's why we went through the first season. Choreographer couldn't take it anymore because we were such good dancers. And then the second season choreographer couldn't take it anymore because we were such good dancers. And finally, they just had Wendy, who plays Nina. She became our choreographer. And she would just be like, just do these 3 things, and that's fine. Anyway, but we'd go off and practice our dance. And but the fun part for me, because the music part of it's kind of my favorite part, is the fun part. We had a studio in there with all of our toys. It was a small room. It wasn't big, but it was like our little hideout. And that's where we record all the songs that we recorded for the show. During the show, we're in this one room in this warehouse, and we had a great music supervisor, music. I forgot his title, but Jason Ryan, he's a friend of ours. He would be in there all day long. Like, he'd come in and like punch the clock, show up to work, and his job was to wrangle us in there in between takes, play something, whatever. Take a look at this place, yeah. Beauty all around. We got shade trees overhead. flowers all around. Oh, oh, take a look at this place. Right, something like that. That song, we'd run in like, whatever, play a little part. We go off and shoot for 3 hours. He's in there working super hard, producing the whole thing, pulling it together. He did a great job for us. So we were able to have this fun musical playground inside the TV playground. So that was great, you know. And I remember we had like a visit from one of our Disney execs come in and just spend a few days, and he's in there watching us put together a song, you know, all that kind of. It's just fun. It was great. It was great.
I want to piggyback off of that. I have to ask because we talk so much about the parks on this channel. As far as, you know, when you were with Disney, were there perks in regards to the parks? Did they take you to the parks? Did you get VIP tours? Were you able to take your family for free? Like, what were some of the things that were kind of offered to you guys?
Yes, all of that. It was funny because so I'm here. I'm in Galveston, right? And have you ever heard of Rainforest Cafe?
Yes.
So my son, who's in his 20s, and his girlfriend, who's also in her 20s, she loves Rainforest Cafe, and so we went the other night just to have like a Rainforest Cafe adventure, and it was gonna be an 1.5-hour wait, so we didn't eat. We were gonna have like a little drink or whatever. So, but we did ride the ride. It was like instantly transported back with that inside with that cool air and the dark and the animatronics. It just all came back to me. So I'm gonna give you full disclosure. I did not grow up going to parks. My family was not a theme park family. My wife definitely was, and that was a point of contention with us when in our pre-movers. I did not want to do any of that stuff, right? I was a little snotty and judgmental, let's just say. Well, when movers came along, we played the parks, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 times, and then had to go. There were several reasons we had to be there for meetings and performances, and they put us up like in the nicest places. I say the nicest place. We would stay in the Beach Club, Yacht Club, that area, which I love. And then they would feed us. They would take us to all the restaurants, cut all the weight, just go like to the best table and eat. And yes, best of all, we would get a guide who would take us through skip everything. Sometimes it was a little bit anticlimactic because we'd go like through the back past a dumpster through a metal door, and then we'd be at the entrance to the ride. So that was not maybe like you missed some of the mystique, but yeah, we got to skip every line, ride all the rides, and then that guide would stick with us all day long to help with whatever we needed, you know. So that I remember like we became buddies with this one woman. My whole family was there. We went to all the rides. She drove us around and got on every ride, and then we went to have dinner at the German beer garden. We had a blast, y'all. It was so much fun. So now when I think about any of that stuff, it's just nothing but the best memory. And I was just telling my wife that I really think this fall, even if I don't go because of work and other stuff, she needs to get back down there with my kids. My youngest now is 13, so they're like seize this last moment while they're still not fully like too cool for school. Get them back down there. Get my mother-in-law down there because she loves it. So yeah. So I would love to have another good Disney moment. I don't think we really have any more perks to cash in, but it was super fun getting to feel like a big shot. I will tell you that. Yes, loved it. I did feel a little guilty sometimes when they cut us in front of the line and be like people who had various reasons they should be in the front of the line and they'd walk us in front of them. That felt a little weird.
For someone that didn't grow up with Disney parks, what was I have to ask, what was your favorite attraction?
Well, okay, so my favorite rides, so I haven't been in a couple years. They probably added new ones. I love Everest. Everest is super fun. I've never been to Disneyland, only Disney World. Everest, and I love the Tower of Terror. I think Tower of Terror is hilarious. I could do that all day long. What's happened to me though, guys, is I'm getting older.
Oh yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Like we went to this little fun, it's like a pier here in Galveston. They have like a fun, actually pretty scary roller coaster. I didn't do any of them. I bought the boring, just walk and don't get on any rides wristbands. Yeah. I didn't really feel sick. Like I used to just even the old just the thing where you get on the swing and it swings you around. Oh. That was so fun. Now I can't do it.
Not anymore. No way.
Actually, apparently I dodged a bullet because they have that here at this pier, but it's like really, really high, like really, really high, like 5 or 6 stories high. And everyone said it was much more terrifying than it looked.
No thanks.
So I'm so glad I wasn't feeling like I was gonna barf, and also like crying out of because I'm scared of heights too. So anyway, all long story short, the Disney ones are good for me. Like I think I would still ride Everest because it's not too intense. And it
It's
doesn't.
your perception as a kid. Like when that first came out, I remember thinking it was like the scariest thing, and someone told me it went backwards, and then I was like, "Oh, I definitely can't." And then once I was on it, I was like, "This is it? This? Oh,
Yeah, it's not too scary.
nah."
Like as Scott was saying, movers not too scary. But the because we play these other theme parks like King's Dominion or Darien Lake up in New York somewhere. Oh my gosh, y'all! Some of those rides are like by many powers more intense than the scariest ride at Disney. So yeah, the Everest is about as intense as I'm willing to go.
All right, Johnny and Sarah, do you guys have anything else for Rich?
I know. I think we're just excited to finally connect. We've seen you guys several times. When you come to New England, we try to make it a point. I mean, New England's small enough that I think we've seen you, the Flying Monkey, a couple times. We've seen you in Plymouth.
Where am I?
Tupelo. He's gone on Tupelo twice. Yeah.
You guys are there, yeah.
It's
funny.
always a good show.
Every mover got this shirt we put at Tupelo, and then we always show up to travel somewhere, and like 2 of us are wearing it. We're like, ah.
Yeah, I had it first.
Well, it's like a very easy, like it goes with everything. Like Ray, it's a go-to wardrobe essential. I've worn it every day for the last 4 days. So,
Yeah.
but
We're not judging.
but all right. Well, why don't I? I'll play a bit of our show closing song. But if you have any more questions, let me know afterwards. But we had a problem, but we figured it out. That's what the movers were all about. Everybody, let's jump and shout. Come on. Jump up. Get down. Stand up. Turn around and around and around and around. Oh, yeah. Y'all, thank you so much for hosting me and talking to me about all this funny stuff. You're making me want to go to the parks now. One of y'all is going to go to the parks first. Buddy, any plans?
I think Johnny's next. He's up in January.
For January.
Oh, where? Wait, you're going to Disney World or where?
Disney World. I'm doing the races, the marathon weekend whole thing.
Oh,
So
very cool.
I'm
But
going to
he's
Disney
not
to
just doing one. He's doing all 4 of
I'm
them.
going to Disney to run.
Oh, wow, how many miles are you going to do total?
Yeah, it's
Too
like
many.
48 and something in 4 days. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
He's gonna fly down there in the middle of the week, do a 5K the next day, then a 10K the next day, then a half marathon, then a full. Yep.
Wow.
I
That's so
paid I gave them a lot of money so I can do this.
Yeah. You just run all over the parks the whole time or like on the ground?
Yeah, you get to run in all 4 parks. Yeah,
What
like
month?
it's January, beginning of
Oh,
January.
it's like the coolest possible month.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah,
That sounds brutal.
you wake up at like 3:30 in the morning. Races start at 5. Very exciting.
You're inspiring me. I'm gonna try and deal with
And
maybe
go
I'll
for a-
walk around the block today.
Go for a jog.
I did jog a little bit today. It's a long story, but I had to. I have a. Well, I'll tell this story off the air.
I'm gonna walk to my living room and inspire me to walk to my living room after this is
Yeah.
over.
But I was jogging this morning, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
All right, so we're gonna let Rich go. Is there anything you want to share with the listeners? Any upcoming events, or you want to
Well,
just?
you had 2 Northeast shows that I believe are probably going to be postponed again, unfortunately. That's what I'm hearing based on because it seems like there's some where we are in New Orleans, we were a little bit ahead. We had our COVID spike, but it seems like there's some problems up north. So
Yeah.
we do have a show that will happen in Newtown, Connecticut, and one in one in New York, Peekskill. But I'm not sure if those dates are going to hold. So I'll just say look out for us in the Northeast soon. But most importantly, our new release is Happy to Be Here. There's videos online. There's the video for Robot Breaks Down, and there's a video for Happy. And please listen on Sirius and stream it on Spotify or Apple Music, and just please keep listening out for Mover Music. There's 250 to 300 songs, so it's kind of hard to miss at this point, but we appreciate your continued attention and support.
All right, cool. All right, Rich. Well, thanks for being on. we are going to let you go. And thanks for everyone for listening. And I think we're going to go off air now, so maybe Johnny's kids can say hello real quick. I see him whispering over there.
For those of you who are watching on YouTube, every time you see my head turn and shake, it's because one of them's dying to come in. They're like waiting in the little doorway.
Okay, so we're going to sign off, let them do that. Thanks again, Rich, and we'll talk to all you listeners out there next week.